I'm inside and I saw Star Trek the original series, The Piece of the Action. It is directed by James Comack, written by David P. Harmon, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode starts when we're following the USS Enterprise and they receive an audio transmission 100 years way too late from this planet, and they're like, you know what? We got it, we should go investigate. You know, as you do when you receive 100-year-old transmissions. I'm thinking, why did they send the transmission in such old-fashioned way? It makes me think, if you had communication with them before, why is it so old? Just curious, just a thought. We got Spock, we got Kirk, and they're going down to the surface. And guess what? Now we're at a 1920s Chicago pretty much, which is really fun. It's fun seeing everyone just be in suits, and it's all nice and fun walking around on the street until you get mugged or there's a drive-by shooting that just happens and everyone has this really big gun. Like, I don't know anything about guns, but it has like a little ring on the front of it. It kind of looks like one of those semi-automatic rifles kind of dealio, but from like the 1920s. And I've only played Call of Duty, so that's the only reference I have for guns, honestly. So anyway, we got this whole society, and there's this boss man. Hey, you're gonna have to talk to the boss. The boss? Yeah, let me show you the boss. How do you not know who the boss is around here? All right, now we got Kirk and Spock. They're here, you know, as from a different place, which a much more technological advancement. Of course, they're here. Hey, we're on behalf of the Enterprise. We're on behalf of the Federation. We're on the behalf of the Feds, all right? I like how you can just shorthand it to the Feds, and it makes sense that the 1920s Chicago boss-esque guys aren't liking that at all. Oh man, so we have Kirk and Spock, and they're gonna go talk to this guy, and they're talking to this guy, and these guys would be like, hey, we're running things, hey, we're running things here, hey! You know what one of my favorite parts of this episode is when we have Kirk and Spock and they're questioning this book, right? What's up with this book? Oh, this book! Yeah, it was left here, and we just kind of followed all the laws in here to an exact T in how to run society. And this book is about the 1920s Chicago mobs. So guess what? Now we got a bunch of 1920s Chicago mobs over here. So Kirk has to find a way in which to get all the bosses together and get them all together under one unified collective. You gotta make sure they have a common enemy. They're all each other's enemies, okay? So we got the one boss, and then, hey, we got another boss, and the other boss be like, hey, psh, come here. And then they go there, and they're like, yeah, we heard everything that you said. We have their lines tapped. We got their wires tapped. And I'm like, oh, does the other guy know about this? Does the other guy have you tapped? He sure didn't mention that he has you tapped, but he sure has open lines. I guess he's not as careful as the other bosses, or evil, I guess. I'm not sure. Oh man, I do like how in this society, in order to make it so they don't follow these laws on the mob laws on how to run a society, Kirk's like, okay, I'm gonna have to be the bigger boss man over here. I'm gonna have to be big boss, and I'm gonna have to be speaking on behalf of the Federation, right? Like, as a guy who just takes your money. And so, oh man, this is really fun. Kirk's like, all right, everyone, Spock, hey, we're gonna make sure that we do nice, cute Chicago mob 1920 accents, right? And we're gonna strong arm them. Hey, the guy, the big man upstairs, the Federation, they want 40% of all your profits. They want 40% of everyone's profits. They want all of them, all right? We have the big gun here now, and that's just basically what Kirk's saying. And he's using lingo, like 1920s lingo, while he's like talking to Scotty on the communicator, rather. I don't know why it's a transmitter. It's a communicator. Flips it open. Hey, Scotty, why don't you beam up one of those mob boys and bring them up to show them around? He's like, what? And then like in whisper, just transport one of them up here, and then just leave them there, and then transport them back there. All right, aye, sir. I really like that. He has to break character in order to give instructions to Scotty. And of course, these guys, they don't believe that he has a big old ship. So they have to beam up one of the bosses. One of the bosses goes down there, and it's like, yeah, they got a big ship. And it's like, wait, how do we know you don't have more than 2 men up in that ship? You don't want to find out. You will never want to find out, now do you? If you try to find out if we have more men than we don't, that's 440 people up there that will go bam on your butts, okay? You don't want to test the power of the Federation. Now he brings like all the mob bosses in one room, and it convinces them to just be good together, like have some sort of camaraderie instead of trying to like hate on each other all the time and like try to do shootouts on each other. Kirk's like, I'm the big bad man boss here, okay? I'm the big baddest boy. And I'm like, all right, I've never seen Kirk like this, but like, this is pretty cool. I like seeing Kirk talking with an accent. He's like, hey, 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 hey. He doesn't do the hand movements. I'm doing the hand movements. Hey, hey. But you know, this conflict gets resolved by the time that all the mob bosses come together, and they're like, you know what, well, we'll try to make things work together. And then the USS Enterprise is like, we're satisfied, we're gonna leave. And I'm like, you didn't really leave them with a method, another method to govern people. So what are you gonna do? What's their next step? They're just gonna naturally learn democracy or something? No, that's not happening. What do you think they chose as a form of government after Kirk left? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whatever Kirk left, whatever this other guy left, they really did heed to the book, right? Heeded to the book. So if they're given a book of some kind, they're just going to heed to it. I really like this episode. I like seeing Spock in a fedora and a suit. Like, that's peak. I loved it. It looks really good on him. Also, seeing Kirk in like a cool suit is also pretty neat, and I liked seeing that as well. You know what? I like this episode. It's a nice, I wouldn't say cozy, because there's a lot of gunshots. So I like the acting of everyone, and I like how, normally they're not like allowed to transport people up, like beam people up to the ship, but they did to demonstrate their power. So they're scared. They're all scared, right? I think that's appropriate. I like this episode. It's an all right one. I gotta give this one, it's a solid 7.4 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The platform really likes that. If you want a fast track movie review, you can do that for $28 Redinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So I can go here. And until next time, I've been Salad Sauce. See you later, my salad croutons and bacon bits. Whew. Beam me up.